Welcome to the Trust Factor Radio, bringing you interviews and insights to unlock the power of the subconscious mind to create authority, credibility, and trust. With your host, the Authority Architect, and best-selling author, Neil Howe.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and today my special guest is Seun Ajanwachuku. Sorry for butchering that name, Sean, but Sean helps business owners with a website achieve greater visibility on Google. And Sean holds a bachelor's in mechanical engineering, and his technical background has contributed greatly to his marketing success and his ability to develop strategies for businesses that work. Sean, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me to the show.
Well, you are the founder and president of GVATEcom. Tell us a little bit about your company and who it is that you help.
So once again, thank you for having me. So a little bit about GVATE. So like I said earlier, GVATE actually stands for Globally Innovate. So as a marketing company, we do not want to be perceived as a cookie cutter digital marketing agency. We want to be perceived as a cutting edge and innovative digital marketing agency with the ability to deliver on results. So GVATE helps out, businesses as small as your mom and pop shop to companies as large as $100 million a year in revenue, healthcare company. So ultimately, if you have a business and you have a website and you are struggling to get traffic, phone calls, likes, share, comments on social media, or people talking about your business in general, you are the kind of person that we can help. And we are able to do this using a variety of different marketing solutions. I don't know if you want to go in depth right now, or you want me to go in depth later. It's up to you. How do you want me to proceed?
Well, let's just talk about some of the problems that the businesses have. And I know if you start at the mom and pop shop, it might be a completely different problem to your $100 million a year companies, but ultimately it's all about getting eyeballs to the website and getting them to take action, right?
Definitely, that's 100% correct. That's really, it seems like an easy problem to fix, but when you start to look at the numbers and how many websites are out there, let's take for instance healthcare industry, right? The healthcare industry in the United States is a very, very massive industry, and what that really means in terms of number is companies are spending millions and millions of dollars a year on advertising. Okay, so for you to be relevant, you need to be sure that you're spending enough in terms of ad budget every single month just to be visible. And then once you become visible, now the next question is, how do I get people to act? So that's usually the way it goes with the clients. First they tell us, hey, we're not visible, we need more visibility. We accomplish that. Next question is, or next problem is, hey, now we're getting more traffic or more visibility on Google, but we need more phone calls, we need more orders. Now comes what you call conversion marketing. And conversion marketing is a kind of marketing that requires a lot of science, and creativity to get results. So it usually starts with visibility, then goes to conversion. And then once you start getting conversion, then next big problem that comes up is, hey, well, we're losing clients, we're not retaining our clients. What can we do to retain our clients? That's usually where the bigger company, I would say the problem that the biggest companies typically have, retaining clients and converting. Okay. Their problem is not so much trying to get that traffic. They're big enough and they're getting the traffic. But the biggest problem is, how do we retain these clients or customers, or how can we convert more of them or more of these traffic into paying customers or clients? So that's usually the kind of problem that bigger companies tend to deal with, and the smaller companies usually, how can I get more traffic to my website, right?
Well, Sean, let's break these down then a little bit. First of all, traffic and visibility, like you said. What ways are you helping to get traffic? Because I know, again, a local mom and pop business might want that local traffic, but when you're talking about these healthcare companies, you know, they're going to have to spend money on getting traffic, right?
Of course, they're gonna have to spend a ton of money. Let's start with the mom and pop shop, right? Obviously we know they don't have a big marketing budget, right? So for them, we typically, utilize local directory listings. Okay, so these are channels like Yelp, Yellow Pages, Manta, just to name a few. And then we mix that up with optimizing their website so they can show up on Google organically, right? And then if they have enough budget, what we can do is throw Google AdWords into the mix just to get a little bit more traffic every single month. And then the last resort, I would say strategy for getting traffic for smaller clients is, of course, social media. Quite frankly, full disclosure, social media is not a tool that's, I would say, efficient for generating sales and conversion. It's more or less a tool for like brand awareness. So we're always very careful to prioritize which of those techniques or marketing channels we want to focus on, when we're trying to reach a specific marketing goal for smaller clients. In the case of bigger clients, on the other hand, getting traffic goes way beyond social media and local directory listing. We have to do press distribution. We have to do PR. We have to spend a ton of money on native advertising. We have to spend a ton of money on what you call remarketing campaigns. Like literally, it's everything we're doing for the small companies or small businesses times 10, or in some situation times 100. With additional dimensions being added into the mix. So generating traffic for small companies, it's not really the same, I would say, technique that we would typically use to generate traffic for bigger companies. And those are just some examples.
Mm-hmm. And I imagine for the smaller companies, there's a good deal of SEO involved.
Yes.
For the bigger companies, do you rely so much on SEO, or do you have a paid strategy?
SEO is like literally a marketing, I would say, channel that permeates all level of business in terms of sizes. It doesn't matter how big or small you are, you need to be doing SEO on your website. Okay, so we use SEO not just for small businesses, but more so for bigger businesses, because typically what that really means is for bigger companies is their websites are usually bigger. Sometimes they have more than one website, that they utilize for their service and or products. So what that means is we need to create a very careful and coordinated campaign that allows those websites to come up on the first page of Google when you're searching for those brands. So SEO is not only for the small players, it's also for the big players as well. Because for the big player, they care a whole lot more about dominating the first page of Google when people are searching for either their products and or their service. Another thing that I forgot to mention regarding a bigger company is reputation management. Okay, when you're a big company, reputation becomes more and more crucial to your day-to-day operation. So as a result, part of the solution we offer bigger clients is reputation management, just making sure that what people see on the first page is what they want people to see, and not something that's unpleasant that could potentially hurt their conversion rates, could potentially prevent them from acquiring new clients, and ultimately, diminish their annual, revenue growth as well. So that's just one more added marketing solution that bigger companies typically, require us to offer them.
Now, when you talk about reputation management or marketing, is this something that you do continually, or is this a fix for when you get bad press?
That's a very good question. So the biggest misconception with reputation management is also with SEO is a lot of companies feel like it's something they do once and then that's it. Unfortunately, that's not the way Google's algorithm works. Google's algorithm works based on relevance and based on, updated information, right? So, and because the algorithm is constantly changing and because new events are constantly occurring, you have news being released by your brands all the time. Google will be fetching those newest and trending data points pertaining to your business. So as a result, you may be able to fix your reputation management, this month. Next month, something else might come up pertaining to your brand, and because it's new and it's fresh, Google will prioritize that new information over the old information. Here's where the problem comes in. If the new information is bad, Google does not care. They will still prioritize that information over an old information. So as a result, that new information that's not good will start to show up on the first page of Google, which means now you're gonna have to get in touch with your reputation management, consultant company and say, hey guys, we need you to fix this. So to avoid that kind of scenario from happening, or to make it a lot harder for it to happen, you need to maintain your reputation management marketing strategy. You need to constantly work on it. It's not something you do once and then you let go. You have to work on it every single month. And our clients who have us maintaining their reputation every single month notice, that they don't run into this kind of situation where a content comes up on the first page that they don't really like, even though it's not really bad. They just don't want it there because it doesn't fall in line with the brand image that they're trying to present. So those kind of clients tend to enjoy better brand reputation when it comes to how they're seen on the first page of Google.
Yeah, I imagine you could really throw that reputation in with brand because you're controlling what is going out and what is being said about you. So you can really get the message of your brand out there as well as work on your reputation at the same time.
Exactly. That's precisely correct. So it's like you're, killing two birds with one stone. You are keeping your brand image intact, and at the same time, you are controlling how people are seeing you. Because we have clients sometimes they do a press release and they email us like, "Hey guys, we need this content to show up, on the first page of Google." And then what we do is we do our little magic to push those contents to the first page of Google because that's what they want people to see, on the first page of Google when someone searches their brand. And we did a similar campaign, for a big name brand a couple of years ago, but through social media. So this company, basically, they wanted not just their website to show up on the first page, but they wanted their social media posts by influencers to also show up on the first page as well. And through what we call social media SEO strategy, we were able to actually implement a solution that allowed their social media to show up on the first page of Google alongside their website as well. So brand image and representation, it's something that big companies take seriously. But like I said earlier, the ones who make the biggest mistakes are the ones who feel like it's something they only do once and then that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's reacting to bad news rather than having the good news going out all the time. Exactly. Well, let's talk about, that's mainly the traffic part that's going to get the eyeballs and people to the website. And then once they get to your website or your other social properties, you need to work on that conversion mechanism. What kind of things do you do to help them with that conversion?
All right, so this is the part where I might lose a number of people because it gets really technical. So I'll try my best to really keep it as simple as possible. So let's say, for instance, you have a website and we were able to accomplish the rather impossible task of getting someone to visit that website. Once that person's on that website, you literally have 5 seconds to grab their attention, okay? And if you are unable to accomplish this, that user will leave and most likely will never come back again. It's just that simple. So to prevent this from happening, there are a number of technical implementation that needs to go into effect. Number one, how fast is your website loading? Okay. So if you're taking like 10, 20 seconds to load, I'm sorry, you are out of luck. The money you spent to get that traffic, you just lost that entire marketing budget just because your website took forever to load. So loading speed is extremely, extremely, extremely crucial to conversion. Next up is text to image or text to rich media rich ratio. What this means in English is, do you have a lot of text on your website and very little images and videos? Or do you have a nice and beautiful mixture of text, images, and videos on your website? Because a website that shows more text, like with a, I would say, rather awkward ratio of text to images, that kind of website will most likely not perform very well when it comes to conversion. And a website that has a very, very beautiful combination of text, images, and video, emphasis on video, it's most likely to enjoy higher conversion rate than the other website that doesn't have any of that going on. So you need to be sure that when someone lands on your website, one, the website loads really fast. Two, once they're there, your text to rich media ratio is extremely, extremely carefully, I would say, crafted to ensure that the user doesn't become overwhelmed by way too many text. Next up, once they're on the website, let's say you have enough videos and images and a nice mixture of text as well. Then the next thing is, how are you commanding the attention of the visitor? Do you have what you call CTA? CTA stands for call to action. Do you have call to action specifically positioned on your landing page? There are a number of neural marketing techniques that you can actually use to actually predict, a user's behavior, and not just predict the user behavior, but also get a user to actually act or move in a certain direction on your landing page. So one way to kind of accomplish this is through something called A/B testing. So A/B testing pretty much means every visitor coming to your website, you're presenting to them different designs. Okay. So visitor A might land on your website and see a call to action that has a color that's in the form of a color green. And visitor B may land on the same website, but will be presented with a different color call to action that, let's say, it's the color blue. So what you can do is look at these data points over time and ask yourself which one is converting the most, the green call to action or the blue call to action. And then from the analysis that you're conducting, you can then come to the conclusion that, okay, green is converting better than blue. And once you come to that conclusion, then you have to update the call to action across your website to the color that converts the most. So there's also something that you can do to actually boost your conversion. Another thing that I want to mention, I don't want to go into, because literally there are like a ton of strategies to boost conversion, but I'm going to cover one more, and that is exit intent technology. Okay, basically in simple English, this is a form of pop-up that only shows up when a user is ready to leave your website. Meaning someone can land on your website, look around, let's say it's an e-commerce, they can look around, look at all your different product categories, and maybe they don't like what they see, or maybe they're not ready to purchase right now, or maybe their husband called them, or their wife called them, or their kids called them, and they were distracted and they just decided to just leave your website to go attend to something else. With an exit intent technology in place, you can, trigger a pop-up, which would then present to that user something that's enticing, like a promotion in the form of, hey, sign up for our newsletter to get 10% off your first order on our website. I mean, if you're ready to purchase an item from a website and you see a message like that, most likely you will enter your name and your email. And once you enter your name and your email, this information can then be processed and sent to an email marketing software, like, for instance, Salesforce or MailChimp or any other kind of solution that you wish to use. And then from there, you can do pretty much run some kind of automated email marketing campaign, which would then send the user the promotion. And then when the user is ready to make a purchase, they'll take that promotional code enter it on your website, get the discount they were looking for, and then order an item from your website. So that's the last, I would say, trick or strategy that I'm willing to disclose. And that's been very, very, very effective for a lot of our clients. Clients who typically use that tend to, see a better conversion rate. Oh, one last thing I think everyone should have: live chats. That's also something, a very, very, simple tool that we've noticed to, generate a high conversion rate for our clients. Just by installing a live chat on your website, you're more likely to actually increase engagement rates, and not just increase engagement rates, but also increase your conversion rate as well. So those are just some, I would say, tip of the iceberg techniques that a company can utilize to increase conversion rate.
Yeah, some great tips and strategies right there, Sean. Now, neuromarketing is one of my favorite topics. I do a lot of study and research in there. And they're saying now that people are making decisions in less than a second of landing on your website, whether they consciously know that or not. They've made the decision to leave, whether it takes them 5-10 seconds to eventually leave, but they're making those decisions right away.
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely true. That is 100% correct.
So, images are definitely very important to capture that attention as soon as possible. But how do you weigh or balance the camp that says, you need words on your page for SEO or for maybe a long form sales letter, to, the neuromarketers that say you need images and less text? And, how do you balance those two out?
Once again, a very good question. So this is a common challenge that we typically face with a lot of our bigger clients. They don't like to have a lot of text on their landing pages. So one very sneaky strategy that we typically use to get around this is the following: the homepage of the website. We always make sure that we hit on every single keyword, not every single keyword, but the most generic of the keywords that we're interested in. We always try to make sure that we utilize those keywords on the landing pages using specific H tags. So H tag is an HTML element that you use to modify a text on any landing page, on any given page of your website. So by using H tag, it's almost like the equivalent of us having like a paragraph worth of contents that utilize those keywords. So that's one thing that we do. We utilize H tag to target keywords that we're going after, and also we try to utilize your footer to also target those keywords as well. So rather than us compacting all of the contents on your homepage, we only have less than like 1 or 2 line of contents with a heading and a subtitle that pretty much utilize the keywords that we're interested in, and then we have a call to action like learn more, call to action, which then takes a user to an internal landing page which has more content. So when it comes to a situation like that, we usually focus our content effort on the internal landing pages, and the creative effort is focused only on the homepage, because we know that's the first thing people see when they come to your website. Most of the time, it's really the first page that people see. So, for clients who don't want to have way too many text on the homepage, that's more or less what we do. We use H tags and we use call to action that takes a user to an internal page with rather dense content and some images as well. So that's the kind of like strategy we use for clients like that. Is it effective? Not as well, but it pretty much, it's like a win-win situation, in a way. It gives the clients what they're looking for, and for us, it gives us what we're looking for as well from an SEO perspective.
Yeah, very good answer there. Okay, so we've got traffic, conversion, and then we've got retention. Now, you mentioned earlier you want to capture their name and email so you can follow on in that conversation. What other things are you doing in order to retain the interest of these visitors?
No, definitely. So this actually, like I said earlier at the beginning of the conversation, this is something that more or less, I would say, bigger companies are more concerned about. So to address this, a very powerful software we typically use is Salesforce. I'm not sure if you've worked with Salesforce before in the past.
Oh,
So
definitely.
Salesforce, it's not the cheapest software out there, but it's a very powerful marketing software. Which integrates with a lot of solutions that are out there as well. So Salesforce is a tool that we typically use for our enterprise clients, to better understand their user behavior. We have scenarios where, live chats that are installed on the website are integrated with the Salesforce, and our marketing team are able to analyze conversation and see if the client's internal team are communicating with the prospects or users in a way where it's friendly, in a way where the user or client will feel comfortable to stick around. We have tools that integrates with review systems as well. That allows us to see how your reviews are changing over time. Are you coming closer to a 5 star, or are you coming closer to a 1 star? And if we see that your performance is reducing over time, we're able to look at all of this data from Salesforce and understand why it's happening. And from our understanding of why it's happening, we can then implement solutions to actually help you improve your reviews. So Salesforce is really a tool that makes it a lot easier for us to help our clients, increase their retention rate, boost their reviews on Google or overall online, and ultimately save them money in terms of cost per acquisition or cost per client acquisition, as time goes on.
Mhm. Well, it certainly seems like there's an overall marketing strategy here. It's not just an SEO service that gets the best results. What kind of results can a client expect by having this kind of strategy implemented for them?
So there are different ways to weigh results. So for SEO, we usually judge this based on the percent increase of keywords that you're ranking for on Google. So this can be keywords that you're ranking for on page 1, 2, 3, or 4, et cetera, et cetera. So on average, we for a really good campaign, we are able to see anywhere from 10 to 50% increase in volume of keyword ranking every single month. And that's not easy to accomplish. For a bigger campaign, we're able to see even like far greater percent of increase in ranking every single month. I'm talking 20 to 30% increase, month after month. There are times where Google will release some kind of updates, which would then result in a drop in ranking. That happens all the time. Once again, that's more or less the reason why we never make any kind of guarantees to any clients when it comes to SEO. And also because it's unethical as well, because you don't control Google's algorithm. We don't control Google's algorithms. As a result, only Google has full control over their algorithm. So that's more or less the kind of results that you can anticipate with SEO. With other solutions such as Google AdWords or Salesforce, the kind of results you might perceive are stuff along the line of perhaps anywhere from 1 to 5% increase. And for instance, one client we're working with, their biggest challenge was getting people to show up to appointment, in their office. So we were able to literally take, no, like I think if I recall properly, the number was their show up rate was around 37% when we started working with this firm. And then, about a year in, we were able to get that number up to around 64%. So that's almost double, where they were when we initially started with them. So that's another form of improvement in performance that you can anticipate to see. And of course, revenue, that's another indicator. An example is a small business that we started working with. This company has been around for a long time, but they were struggling with online sales. When we started working with them, their revenue was around $50,000 a year, online revenue, not even the offline revenue. And after a year, we were able to get them to around $100,000 a year, in terms of like online revenue. And like I said, I'm not even accounting for the offline revenue that they were generating. So those are more or less some of the ways of us gauging, how much value we were able to bring to a company or to a client. It could be boosting ranking, boosting revenue, or boosting, their the number of people showing up for appointments, or boosting, the overall reputation.
Mm. Yeah, well, it is really apparent that it is an overall strategy to get the best results. So if somebody wants to reach out to you, Sean, to see if they can get the same results for themselves, what's the best way for them to be able to do that?
Yes, so you can visit us at www.GVATE.com. So once again, that's G as in George, V as in Victor, A as in Alpha, T as in Tango, E as in Echo.com. Or you can reach us via email at sales@GVATE.com.
Excellent. And you are based in New York, is that correct?
Yes, sir. So we have two locations, one in Manhattan and another one in LIC, Long Island City.
Excellent. Great stuff. Well, Sean, thank you very much for being my guest on the Trust Factor Radio today. I've really appreciated the information there and the understanding of pulling all these different parts together to set up a good strategy that gets results.
No, definitely was a pleasure. I want to thank you for having me as well.
And to our listening audience, if you like what you hear, hit that like button and share, and we'll see you next time on the show.
You've been listening to the Trust Factor Radio with Neil Howe. To learn about the resources mentioned in the show and to listen to past episodes, go to thetrustfactorradio.com. To get a copy of the book, The Trust Factor, go to thetrustfactorbook.com. If you are ready to act now and build your authority, credibility, and trust, schedule a consultation with Neil at theauthorityarchitect.com.